What's going on, guys? Mr. Acolyte here, coming at you with a quick start guide for Granblue Fantasy versus Rising. This is the new free-to-play version of Granblue with a ton of changes, brand new characters, brand new mechanics, all that stuff. So I thought I would do a quick guide to help you ease into it if you're interested, even in the least. This guide's going to break down all the game's mechanics, new and old, so that you'll be ready to jump right on into the action. So let's not waste any time and get right to it. So let's go ahead and start with movement. This game's movement is similar to something like Street Fighter, but with a little bit of anime spice thrown on top of it. So of course you have your regular forward and backwards walk. You can walk with any character, of course. Now this game does not have a dash. This game has a run. So whenever you hit forward, you will run towards your opponent and you can run all the way across the screen pretty quickly. And you also have a backdash, just like in most games. However, in this game, backdash has no invincibility, no strike invul. Halfway through the animation, you are airborne, so you can't be thrown during that, but at the beginning, if they try to throw you, it'll make the throw unbreakable, so be wary of that. When it comes to air movement, you have the traditional jump, again, very similar to something like Street Fighter. You have a traditional jump, you can't control where you land, and no, you do not have a universal air dash, just a regular jump. However, you can super jump by hitting down up. Super jumps cover way more distance, allowing you to get in from much further away, as well as setting up for cross-ups from further away, all that good stuff. Now let's go over the attacks. This game has 4 main attack buttons: your light attack, your medium attack, your heavy attack, and your unique attack. The unique attack will do something special for each individual character. Of course, you have your crouching versions of each, your jumping versions of each, and in this game, similar to older Street Fighter games and Guilty Gear games, you also have your close attacks. So you have close light, close medium, close heavy. When it comes to stringing attacks together, this game does feature an auto combo system. It actually has an auto combo for each of the 3 main attack buttons. So you have your light auto combo, which is LLL, your medium auto combo, which is MMM, and then your heavy auto combo, which is HHH. So the big thing to keep in mind here versus other games you may have played, the auto combo in this game can only be done from the close ranged buttons. As you can see, if I'm this distance away and I get my far light, I cannot auto combo. If I mash it, no auto combo. If I connect it, no auto combo. If you want to combo from this range, you have to do something similar to Link's in Street Fighter. Something new to Rising is the addition of dash attacks. Now if you press forward in one of the light, medium, or heavy buttons, you will do a dash attack. These attacks all have different properties depending on the strength of the button and the character themselves. Some characters have running lows, some characters have running overheads, some characters will side switch. It really just depends. It's a really cool new attack that gives characters a lot more options even from far away. And closing out the basic attack, we have the throw. Throw is done by pressing light and unique at the same time, and you will throw your opponent. There are a couple of different ways to break throws in this game. Let's go ahead and go with the regular one, and that is to simply press throw when someone tries to throw you. You have a pretty small window now to break throws. It's a bit bigger than in other fighting games, but still pretty small, so you have to be careful there. But pressing throw when you're about to be thrown or when you're in the startup of a throw will break it, and you and the opponent will be neutral. No one has the advantage. However, in Rising, you can also press one of the attack buttons at the moment of a throw, and you will do what is called a late tech. As you can see, when you do a late tech, it's much different. Your character gets up off the floor. So as it implies, you are at a bigger disadvantage when you tech like this. Now it's time to start covering special moves. This game is super unique when it comes to special moves. This is where this game is pretty much not like any other fighting game out there. So let's go ahead and take a look at how the special moves here work. So for every character, if you look at the upper left-hand corner, you can see 4 different cards. The cards represent your special moves. When it comes to doing the special moves, you have 2 different options. You have what is called the easy input and the technical input. So when doing the technical input, that would be your traditional Street Fighter fighting game input of, let's say, 236L. That is my fireball. You can see the fireball icon up there. It gets spent when I do this. So I'm effectively spending that card. However, if you don't want to do the technical input, and for a little bit less damage at neutral, not in combos, you can just press the special button and it will do that particular move for you. And as you can see, you have the other moves up there as well. Forward in the special button will do her uppercut. Down in her special button will do her special jump. And back in the special button will do the Totsugeki. So all of these moves have their own inputs. You're free to do them if you want. However, you're not penalized for doing the easy versions anymore. Now, what really makes the card system unique is when you start talking about the EX versions of the moves, the enhanced powered up versions. So when you use the heavy button for any of your special moves, you will do the EX version, and that will spend your card. So as you can see, you do a powered up version that is stronger and usually has better properties than the regular version. Sometimes it'll be armored, sometimes it'll be a launcher, sometimes it'll hit multiple times. It really depends on the character and the attack. But when you do the EX version, take a look at the card up there. As you can see, it goes on cooldown. So while the attack is on cooldown, I no longer have access to it. So as you can see, I'm doing the input. I cannot do it anymore, not until the card comes back. Now that it's back, I have access to the light, medium, and heavy versions once again. So this is something to keep in mind in this game. When you spin an EX, you're spending the card and you won't be able to do it until it comes back. So always keep that in mind. Besides just EX moves, you also now have ultimate moves. Ultimate moves, think of them as kind of like mini supers. To do the ultimate skill version, it costs 50% of your super meter. The super meter is the bar to the right of your cards, and it costs exactly 50% to do the ultimate skill version. So as we've seen, here's the light, here's the EX, and then here is the ultimate. So as you can see, the ultimate version of each skill is pretty crazy, and again, this varies from character to character, but usually ultimate skills are very powerful, and usually they have some pretty crazy properties attached to them. It's really fun and unique addition to the game, and what's really cool about this that adds a lot of layers to the usual Granblue play from the first game is that even if you don't have a card available, like let's say I just spent my EX right here, my EX Fireball, I can still do my ultimate Fireball as long as I have the meter. The game will still allow you to use ultimate moves if you have meter, so this adds a lot of variety and creativity to the way you do your offense and your combos, and just generally makes it feel like you have a lot more options to use while you're playing. So now that we got the basics out of the way, let's go ahead and start breaking down the mechanics. So one button that we didn't mention when we were going over the attacks is the block button. This game does feature a block button similar to Mortal Kombat, so simply by holding block, you can mitigate a lot of cross-up shenanigans, which this game does have a lot of. The game has a lot of ways of crossing people up, so the block button comes in handy for that, so keep that in mind. And while blocking, you have access to a few different mechanics, the first of which being the roll. So by pressing forward and block at the same time, or holding block and pressing forward, you can roll. This allows you to roll through your opponent, similar to something like Smash Bros, but most importantly, it allows you to roll through attacks. Halfway through the animation, you are completely invul. You can be thrown, but you're invul to supers, specials, strikes, all that good stuff. So this is really good for closing distance on most projectiles. Most projectiles in the game you can just roll past, and that's pretty much what it's designed for, to help you get in if your opponent is trying to keep you out. Also similar to something like Smash, you have the spot dodge. This is done by pressing back and block. Just like before, this allows you to evade projectiles. To my knowledge, this will evade all projectiles, though some projectiles can try to trap you. However, the main purpose of this is, again, to stop you from getting chipped out from afar, and it's also good for getting around certain unblockable attacks. The game also has a tech roll, which is done by holding back and hitting a button as you hit the ground. This will allow you to recover more quickly than usual. However, keep in mind that some attacks are a hard knockdown and do not allow you to tech. Now it's time to talk about this game's biggest new mechanic, which is the Raging Strike. Raging Strike is done by pressing medium and heavy at the same time. This uses a brand new resource called the Brave Gauge. If you look at the top of the health bars there, you see those 3 dots. Raging Strikes is one of a few things that will take away from your Brave Gauge. So every time you do it, it costs 1 Brave Gauge. Now these gauges do not come back until the round is over, so you have to be very careful with how you spend them. Now, because of the fact that you can only get up to 3 Raging Strikes per round, Raging Strike is actually very, very strong. So if you do it on an opponent's block, it will completely guard break them. Not only that, just by doing that, you take away one of their Brave Gauges. So it's a very big deal if someone even does this on your block, so you have to be very careful. Even though you can't block it, you can spot dodge it, so keep that in mind. Once the guard break goes through, you can press the button again to do a launcher. The launcher costs 25% of your special meter. So for 1 Brave Gauge and 25% meter, you can do a big combo even on the opponent's block. However, that's not to say that it's completely unstoppable. If someone guard breaks you with a Raging Strike, you can counter it by doing your own. So it's kind of a quick reaction test. This is probably going to catch you off guard when you first start playing, but once you get used to it, there's definitely enough time for you to react. It's very similar to Drive Impact in Street Fighter 6. It's just something you have to get used to reacting to. However, make a note that, as you can see, as the defender, I've lost 2 Brave Gauges already. I lost 2 bars of my Brave Gauge because I did one and I got hit by one. So the opponent still has their 2 and I have 1. So you got to be careful about letting somebody guard break you for free, because it can add up. And yes, if you run out of gauges, you have no way of stopping a Raging Strike from going into a combo even on block. So you definitely have to be careful, have those spot dodges ready. And besides doing it on block, you can also extend any hit confirm with a Raging Strike as well. So something that ordinarily might not lead to a combo, if you want to spend some of your super meter, which you do get super meter really quickly in this game, I want to make a note of that. But if you feel like spending some of your Brave Gauge, you can do that to extend hits that might not lead to much into some pretty considerable damage. And the last way to spend your Brave points is with a Brave counter. If your opponent is really on your block, like heavy, and you cannot get them off, or maybe you're stuck in the corner, you can spend one of your Brave points by doing a Brave counter. That is by pressing medium and heavy at the same time while you're blocking something. And as you can see, you will push them off of you, similar to like a dead angle from Guilty Gear or a guard cancel in DBFZ. You'll push them off of you at the cost of 1 Brave Gauge point. And now let's talk about how to spend your super meter. This game features 2 different kinds of super attacks. Your regular super costs 100% of your bar, and the easy input with all characters is to press throw plus the skill button, and you will do your character's super. Think of that as like your level 1 super. You also have something similar to a level 3 super, which can only be done when you are below 30% health and you have 100% meter. And that is done by pressing the throw button, the skill button, and the unique button all at the same time. And these usually do insane damage and usually have a pretty big cinematic. And fun fact, if you end a match with one of those, you get a special win pose with every character, so try to see if you can land one. And that's going to do it for all the basics of Granblue versus Rising. Thanks so much for listening, guys. Hope this was helpful. This game is a lot of fun. I'm super excited about it. Be sure to let me know down in the comments who your main is or who you're looking forward to maining. And as usual, you guys have a good one, and I will see you in the next one. Peace.